God save the Gypsy King. You know it's a good fight when you throw away your scorecards in the 11th round. Let's get into the video.
Welcome back to another immediate reaction, everybody. I'm Brad here with Chris. We're on the 11th island talking about the 11th round knockout of Deontay Wilder by Tyson Fury in an all-time classic to finish off the trilogy. Chris, what are we thinking of this fight?
Yeah, big day for the brand. And you know, going into this fight, all the intrigue, all the wonder. I mean, we've seen Wilder in some pretty embarrassing situations in that last fight, coming out, making excuses and all these things. And immediately, right off the bat, we see Wilder coming out on his front feet, you know, really targeting the body, trying to use a little bit more strategy than he has in the past fight, trying to set things up. Brad, what were you thinking from Wilder right out of the gate?
Right out of the gate, we were seeing a completely different Wilder. It was like he came in with a game plan. It wasn't, I'm going to hit you with my right hand, I'm going to knock you out. Because he kept talking about how, and he talked about it before this fight, and before the last fight as well. He's like, you need to be perfect for 12 rounds. I need to be perfect for 2 seconds. That's not the case. Tyson Fury's got a lot of power. Wilder, you have to be almost perfect as well to get the job done. He came out with a really good game plan, but that extra activity really started to gas him out. And we saw around the third, fourth round, he was really wearing on him. It was almost like he kind of needed to pick up his second win, which he did in that 2 knockdown round. But by that point, Tyson Fury's cardio, even though he doesn't look like he's got a lot of cardio, it's through the roof, and he just wasn't able to keep up with it as he was just getting worn down, especially with that big weight disadvantage. Because Chris, going into this, the weight was a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, for such a big guy, Fury looked really light on his feet. He was bouncing. Even when he was taking some of those body shots in that first round, he was really able to evade super well. And one thing I really like about watching Tyson Fury is just how fast his head is and how subtle it. I mean, a lot of the times he's not blocking, he's ducking. And there's a lot of when Wilder would kind of spin around when Fury would have him on the ropes. Wilder would kind of do that spin around thing where he tries to reverse the situation and just hook around. Fury was really fast to duck those, and I think that if you've thrown a punch, if you've worked out, they say, oh, you don't need a bag because you get more cardio in from just punching the air because nothing's stopping you. You're going to go even harder force. You're not thinking about, oh, I'm going to hurt my hand, whatever. Something about it. You expend more energy when you don't hit something a lot of the times. So I think a lot of those swings and misses were really a part of what gassed Wilder so quickly.
Yeah, and even with the game plan to touch the body, really work the jab, everything was still thrown with that fight-ending potential. And the Wilder's round, when it was going to happen, was that I believe it was the fifth or sixth round when he got the 2 knockdowns. Things were looking real good, but Fury just...
What was the fourth round?
Fourth round, sorry.
Yeah, it was the fourth.
I mean, the fight just ended. We're live reacting. I didn't even look at a box score for this. But Fury's got a granite chin, and once he came back from that and he showed that the composure was there, the clarity was there, it was just a matter of time. Because after that, I don't think Fury swept him out until he knocked him out. And I mean, going into just the finish there, I think clearly we're going to look at that there was, after the second fight, most people thought that it should have been ended, but I mean, there was kind of a little bit of controversy, if you will. There's no controversy with how this ended. The referee clearly was in the right for stopping this. Don't you agree?
Yeah, and to not jump too far ahead, too, let's talk about the refereeing. I'm trying to remember what was the name of the referee there, but he did a fantastic job. He was a very active player in the fight, but he wasn't active in the sense that I'm gonna determine an outcome. No, I'm gonna help provide a playing field here. You had Fury really leaning on the clinch, being the bigger man, trying to weigh on him a lot, especially in those early rounds. He would just come in and getting slapped. And then finally, so it's good when you're an active referee in those sorts of things, but then in terms of ending fights, you let it play out. And I think everybody got a respectful count. I mean, people are going to talk about Fury getting some long counts in those, but what do you think of that?
I mean, the one count, I think it was the second one that was very long, from 5 to 6 especially. Fury was making it regardless. So I don't think that's it's not like one of those situations where if he doesn't if they don't stretch the count out, he doesn't make it. Maybe kind of like the first fight where he got
Hmm.
knocked down, and people are saying, well, maybe he doesn't make it if you don't stretch it out. He was making it. I don't think there's any drama in that situation. Fury was clear-eyed on the
Yeah,
ground,
yeah.
and he was reacting to the count and being a smart fighter, understanding that I just got rocked. I'm gonna tell
And I
nine
mean, not
to
even
to
like a
get up.
smart fighter, but he was being a bit cheeky too. He was kind of had that grin, like, haha, like I got my this is the moment I'm famous for, getting up on a 9 count. I'm gonna wait till it's 8 and stand up. I'm gonna sit
Well,
here
yeah, yeah, then
and
and he's a showman. I mean, the
yeah,
type of guy that finishes a fight, rips off a fire presser afterwards, and then sings to the crowd.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean,
and
that's the
and
type of guy
and
Tyson Fury is.
and I didn't even pick up on the fact that it was a long count until people had pointed it out right after it happened, because I was like, please, like, we got to get more of this. I'm so happy. You could have counted to 50 if that meant the fight was going to keep going, because I did not want this one to end.
Well, in a lot of times boxing, when in long fights, you go, "Oh, can like give me a knockout, like let's get it over
Hmm.
with," and then 11 rounds flew by, and
Hmm.
I could have watched another 11. This was a great back and forth. I think like and recency bias aside, an all-time classic, and I think we're
Hmm.
going to wake up tomorrow and think that that take is very valid, and especially in a trilogy fight where there's been so much drama back and forth, and of course in the premier division in
Hmm.
all of combat sports being the heavyweight division in boxing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a star-crossed or star-aligned event here. This
Mhm.
is the one, and all the promotion for this fight, all the sweet. I mean, shout out to Triller. I mean, a lesson learned that you don't need concerts. We want hype videos, because the videos, the production quality was fantastic on this.
Mhm.
Everything, the shoulders of giants element of just
Mhm.
the history of this division, this weight class, and just what it means, and what it means to win, what it means to lose. To hear from
Mhm.
some former champions who have lost, to kind of set us up for this drama. Fantastic. Now, speaking of kind of the showmanship and the presentation, we got to touch on the walkouts quickly before we
Yes.
get it to what's next.
The walkouts, I think it was I for Wilder, it was right up his alley, where it was the extravagant, kind of flashy, not too heavy like last time with
Hmm.
that drama.
Fabric,
I
fabric.
yes,
It can be
it was very.
shiny, but it's got to be fabric.
I liked Wilder's. I liked it. He had the guy with him rapping a
Yeah.
specific Deontay Wilder song, and then Fury's, of course, coming out in a friggin' what like dollar store 300. This is Sparta, and then the whole like big drama to then ACDC. It was perfect. It summed up both guys so perfectly
Uh huh.
coming into this. I don't think you could have done it any better on either side.
Yeah, yeah. It was there. There was just so many cultures involved. There was so much for both of these guys. It was just very fun, and exactly what we all need right now. I think is
Mhm.
just pure fun, and to see Fury, take himself very lightheartedly, have some fun, have so many
Mhm.
tone shifts. I mean, it was so elaborate, but yet it was so simple at the same time, because I think you
Mhm.
have just three different concepts, and it's like, okay, we're gonna get the cheapest production quality on all of them, and to have this campy feel, it was just so much fun. Now, Brad, what's next in this heavyweight division? What is going on in the world of boxing?
Well, I'll start with Tyson Fury. And how much time do we got left, Chris?
We got a
We got a
couple
few minutes,
minutes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so for Tyson Fury here, he's now made his successful defense of WBC. We're leaving the Wilder fight situation now. I think for Tyson Fury, you're looking at maybe a Dillian White's going to defend his interim WBC title. I think that's the fight to make next. I think you match him up with Dillian White as long as he takes care of business in his next fight. You get rid of the interim strap. You kind of unify the WBC, and then that is going to probably happen around the same time as the Usyk Anthony Joshua fight would happen in the springtime, and you open it up so to time out these guys, where you go Dillian White next, and then you set up for if Anthony Joshua comes back and beats Usyk, you set up that super fight Fury Joshua. Probably the biggest English, British boxing fight in history, probably the biggest heavyweight box, not biggest, but one of the biggest heavyweight boxing fights in history. And even if Usyk wins, that's still a fun fight, and it's going to unify all 4 heavyweight belts, which I think is something that it's something we all want to see. I mean, everybody wants to see all 4 belts with one person, and I'm sure Tyson Fury wants to see that too. But Dillian White, and then set it up for that, just so you can time it out. And then with Wilder, Chris, I think that this situation is, people are going to say, is this the end of the road for Wilder? And would I want to see Deontay Wilder fight again? I would, anytime, no matter who he's fighting, I will pay to see Deontay Wilder fight, because that knockout potential is always there. The charismatic personality of him is something that I'm going to always want to see. The question is now going to be, in Deontay Wilder's hands, is at the age that he is now, with all that he's accomplished, is he okay coming in and fighting non-title fights? And in all reality, you got into the boxing game very late in life. He didn't get into it till he was around 19 years old, solely for the reason of providing for his daughter, who had medical bills to pay. You've successfully done that. You've successfully paid for your great-grandchild's medical bills. You've made life-changing wealth. You're not close to a title shot. Do you want to come in for these like fun fights where you're going to make a tenth, maybe, of what you just made fighting a Tyson Fury? Or do you want to walk off and go, I've done all I set out to do, and that's all I needed to do. The game's been great. I've taken a lot of damage. I don't need to take any more.
Yeah, and to close this off, I think that boxing is one of the cruelest sports in the world when it comes to losing. But yet, the heart that we saw from Deontay Wilder tonight, that's one to hang your hat on. But anyways, Brad, on that note, it's the end of the road for us. I know that. We gotta. I'm playing the music. The producer's saying we gotta go.
All right, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like these immediate reaction style stuff. We're doing them every week. UFC, MMA, boxing, and check Sports Cards playlist for our subscriber giveaway. And we hope to see you later. Peace.
See ya.